he's still relatively young. He can still go. He still got a lot to give to the wrestling industry. And if he doesn't address these problems, then wala. These this cycle is going to repeat. Remember when he came back for this last run, I think we all conceded that it's only a matter of time until something like this was going to happen, and then it happened because that's just the way he is. That's why I have a problem then with people who are proud to be unapologetically themselves. Because let's face it, there are, for a lot of us, even myself, there are a lot of parts about yourself that you should be apologetic for. And parang it's if you say that about yourself, wala kang self-awareness that you are flawed and that there are parts of you that just won't fly well with society. And I don't even care that you're like a rebel or whatever, you don't fit in, so I'm like this. We live in a society, as the Joker says, and for us to be harmonious here, we have to work on the parts of ourselves that we need to work on. And I hope that somebody intervenes for Phil like that, like AJ sana. It's funny, but nobody knows what AJ thinks about all of this. And one would think that she is the more reasonable one in the room, in their bedroom, because she put out a whole book about mental health, and she's open about her struggles, and then she can't rein in her husband, who is demonstrably acting out in public in front of the entire wrestling industry. Like, what's going on there? Not to put the blame too much, but I just want him to get help. I don't want him to be exiled from the wrestling world forever, but as long as he's like this, it's hard to do business with this guy. Should be an example then for a lot of promotions all over the world. If there's a problem, then you got to do something about it. And even though it took Tony Khan his own personal safety, a risk to his own personal safety, it's like people, you need them to feel the negative effects of their actions, or in Tony Khan's case, inaction. At least he did something about it. He wasn't a mark to, be light with his punishment. And he took the L, and he nobly took the L for a liability that he had in his locker room.
But when you're unapologetically abrasive to people and like, ganito na ako, take it or leave it, you're unwilling to change negative aspects of yourself kasi you're so set in your ways, that's the problem. That's the line I'm trying to draw here.
Yeah.
Na,
Tama.
when we say na that person is unapologetically themselves, you have to look at it from which context ba, di ba? And in this case, when we talk about behavior, yung behavior ng tao, if they're not willing to change their behavior and it's clearly affecting their workplace, the industry, di ba, as a whole, that's when you know that there's a problem. And what we see here, at least from my standpoint, is these are the consequences. Actions have consequences no matter how big of a star you are. And that's something na ako, matagal ko nang bit-bit to with the local industry, something na I've wanted people to realize for years and years, even before COVID happened, even before we walked out of PWR. Now, whatever you do, your actions have consequences. Your actions will always reflect back on the companies you're affiliated with because you represent them whether you like it or not. And in this case, what we see here is AEW saying na we don't want to work with this person anymore because their association with us is not helping the brand. AEW is supposed to be celebrating such a huge victory. Diba? All In is such a win for the wrestling industry, for a company that's trying to really establish itself as the alternative to WWE. And instead of talking about that, the wrestling industry has been talking about CM Punk and the actions that happened right before his music hit. So dun palang napakalaking bagay na pinag-uusapan yung backstage issues and everything he's done dating back to Brawl Out from last year. And what we're seeing now are the consequences finally playing out.